Hello and welcome to Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben and this week I'm hanging out with Gaz.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hello.
Today, it's a movie special.
Oh yes.
It's Gaz's pick.
A movie special about a very special movie.
Sharknado 3. Oh hell no.
Yeah.
Mike, I know, has strong views on this film.
It's an apt title, isn't it? Oh, hell no.
I'll say this now. You have seen worse films than Sharknado 3.
Not many.
Not many, but you have seen worse. You've seen worse made films and less entertaining films. You were entertained by the ending.
True. I did like the ending.
Yeah.
Did redeem itself a bit at the end.
Well,
but we'll get into it.
we will get into it. This episode is going to differ slightly from our usual. We would take you through, a plot synopsis in some kind of form. But in the case of this film, there is no plot, apart from there's a giant tornado full of sharks.
Well,
And random things happen.
the initial idea, I wanted you to watch all 6 of them. I only managed to sort of trick you into watching 2 of them.
Yes.
I didn't trick you. I made a genuine fucking mistake. I thought part 4, because the tagline is The Fourth Awakens, I thought that was the one with space in it.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's Sharknado 3. Oh hell no. So I actually got you to watch 2 of the 6.
You did.
And I just sort of want to discuss the phenomenon of the Sharknado franchise, because it is fucking weird. It's weird that it exists. It's weird that they get made. It's weird that all these celebrities want to be part of it. And when they release them on the Sci-Fi Channel, everybody tweets along and it goes mega viral and everyone's like, ha ha ha, this is so shit. We love it. But then there's people like me who don't go, ha ha ha, this is so shit, I love it. They just go, I love it. Because I do genuinely love these fucking films. And yeah,
Okay.
that's what I've got to say at the start.
All right. So summer 2023 marked an important cultural milestone. 10 years since the release of the original Sharknado, which has become a full-blown franchise with 6 movies, tens of millions in ad revenue and merchandise sales, real-world references in the floor of Congress, and near universal awareness, all things that are otherwise unheard of for a made-for-TV sci-fi channel film.
Yeah, so to, a little bit of context if you're a listener who is thinking, what's a sci-fi film? So the Sci-Fi Channel, they make movies which cost, and I am not fucking exaggerating here, anywhere from like $10,000, I think the most they ever spend is about like $30,000 to make an entire high concept monster horror sci-fi type movie with shitloads of special effects. You can't make those type of films for that amount of money.
Yeah.
But they still do. They are beyond shit. I'll give you some titles, shall I?
Okay.
To get you going. So, Zombie Tidal Wave.
Okay, yeah.
Oceans Rising, Malibu Shark Attack, Five-Headed Shark Attack, War of the Worlds 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Sharktopus versus Werewolf, Hamel Spiders, Lake Placid 3, Chupacabra Dark Seas, Monster Island. There's fucking hundreds of them. Lava Lantulas one, which
Oh, I might have caught part of that.
tarantulas made of lava. Titanic 2, I think that's one of theirs.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
They're awful. I watch a lot of them. There's lots of dinosaur-based ones. They're always on TV. Like, there's a channel in England called Legend. And when I come in from work, and early in the morning as well, there's always some fucking dog shit movie on. And I will watch them and love them. I usually send you guys a screenshot of what bullshit I'm watching.
Have you seen the Velocipasta?
Velocipasta. I'm aware of its existence, but I have not seen it now.
You probably love that.
Yeah. But normally these films, my point is, They come and go. Nobody gives a fuck about them. They're made just to fill airtime and get a bit of ad revenue. They've got like a bit of a cult, people like me, but it doesn't ever cross over. Ever.
Sharknado does.
Yeah. And I think, well, we'll get into it in this article, but I think a lot of it is to do with it's a fun word to say.
It is.
It's just a fun concept and word.
It's an insane concept.
Well, later on we might discuss the science behind a
it's
Sharknado.
true. So the bad shark movie genre is rich and storied, and it really is.
It's billions.
Yeah. But none of the others have had anywhere near the cultural impact or legacy of Sharknado apart from Jaws.
There's one called Clown Shark, Mike.
I don't want to watch that one.
Oh no, it's you that doesn't like clowns. Yeah,
That's right,
it's a shark with a clown face.
I just shoot it in its clown face. Quite frankly, with the largest gun I can find. Preferably some kind of missile fired from my shoulder. I want to do it personally, It's a staggering cultural impact that no one expected. So Forbes reported in 2014 that campy creature features have always been around, but Sharknado has transcended that niche audience and become a global phenomenon. While the AV Club noted that no one affiliated with this franchise ever expected it to become a franchise, to take that sci-fi asylum films combination of bad acting, writing and CGI and strike media gold, social media gold, it shouldn't have gotten one sequel. It got 5 of them.
Of which you've seen 2, lads.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a good friend. Such a good friend.
Basically, it revolves around one guy who's really good at cutting sharks up with a chainsaw while they're flying at him. That's his skill.
Yeah, and his name's Finn.
Yeah, isn't he a shark expert?
I can't remember. It's been a while since seen the first one. I think that's how he first gets roped into it. Yeah, he's some sort of marine expert, and then turns out he's an expert at like being an action hero. He's pretty good with a fucking shotgun, isn't he?
And a chainsaw.
Yeah, that opening scene with the president.
Yeah.
See, you were all in then at first. You were like, because there's people
obviously
sliding
the
about with
acting
guns.
was terrible.
Yeah.
Right, but seeing the president and the main character firing guns into a wall of oncoming flying sharks, what did grab my attention somewhat.
Yeah.
I will not deny that. But we never saw that president again.
Guns. They couldn't afford the actor.
There was no mention of him ever again. It was just like, I think he was referenced once as being on the phone.
Ben.
So he survived, we know that.
If he was to
That's
be...
a theme in this film, though, isn't it? People come into the film
Yeah,
for a
because
little bit and then they disappear.
they can only afford to have them for a few hours. They can't afford more than one costume. If he was going to appear at the end, he'd have to be in the same costume.
I bet he probably had to bring his own suit.
He probably did have to bring his own suit.
And it's like, that guy in the black suit and black tie gets the job.
We looked up the budget, didn't we? Wasn't it 3 million? Or 2.5 million, I think, or something.
For this film, yes, but obviously that's because it's spawned a franchise
Yeah,
at
that's
this point,
because
isn't it?
they know they're going to make that back in social media money.
Well, do you want to fill in what happens in 1 and 2? Because, I don't know that. You don't know that.
Right.
Well, basically, Mike, it's the same premise as all of them. There's a tornado that lifts sharks at the water and fires them at America.
In the first one, it hits Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, it hits New York. In the first one, there's a bunch of like list celebrities, and in the second one, there's some like Y-list celebrities. It's essentially the same thing. That bloke Finn runs around with a chainsaw killing them.
Yeah.
Tara Reid, that's his bird, his lady friend.
She gets a chainsaw for a hand at some point.
Yeah, she gets a chainsaw for a hand, but like she gets crushed at the end of part 3. So part 4, she's recreated as a robot, a superpowered robot, right? And then in is it part 5 or 6, Finn is travelling through time with the robot's head in a bag to try and then that's part 6. But he travels back in time and finds her, so she comes back to life and she's not a robot anymore. So she's got quite the arc. She gives birth inside a shark.
She does.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah. The baby has a chainsaw hand for some reason, if I remember rightly.
Did it?
Did it?
I think you've added that, you bastard.
It's
You
marketed
should
as it
write
is.
for Sharknado, you crazy fool. And then, as if that's not enough, the baby has a chainsaw hand. Yes, we can't afford it. It'd be too expensive to make a little mini. Oh, for fuck's sake!
Didn't he chainsaw his way out because she was
did.
crushed?
No, yeah. He chainsawed his way out.
The baby chainsawed his way out with his chainsaw fist because she was crushed.
No, she gets crushed afterwards.
Ah.
She cuts the hole and then she pokes the baby through the hole.
That's right. She chainsaws her way out the thing and then she puts the baby
didn't have a chainsaw hand.
I want to point out that
How drunk were you?
Really drunk. My memory of this film and the preceding one is incredibly hazy.
Yeah. They're all the fucking same.
Yeah, I really couldn't tell what was happening a lot of the time. The action scenes held my attention, but all the bits in between did not.
Well, there's a very long, slow bit in part 3 where they're all at a theme park.
Yeah, I remember us noting that when we watched it.
It just kept, and I was thinking, how much money did this theme park pay the production? Because there was just all these endless establishing shots and sweeping shots of like.
Look at our roller coaster.
They probably let them
Look
do
at
it
the
for free.
restaurant.
They let them do it for free so they can advertise the theme park.
It just went on and on.
Well, you can put that on your sign though, can't you? As seen in Sharknado 3.
Yeah. But then the Sharknado hits. Chris Jericho gets a fun little anecdote.
Chris Jericho's in this too, isn't he? Yeah.
The reason you'll note, Mike, Chris Jericho was the wrestler. He's the guy who operated the ride. Who found the girl's phone.
Yeah.
Do you remember that he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, but on his arms he had like white bandages that came down to his wrists. This is because Chris Jericho has a lot of tattoos, and he said on his podcast that the production said, so basically the way they do the shark thing is like you just stand there going and they CGI a shark on top of you, but sometimes they have to like CGI you a little bit as well, and they're like, we can't afford to do those tattoos. And we haven't got a long sleeve shirt anywhere. First aid kit.
Oh, no way.
Bandages.
Love it.
Couldn't find a long sleeve Mickey Mouse operation, is this?
The budget does not include them popping down to the local charity shop and buying a long sleeve shirt.
No. They just persuaded one. Hey, have you ever heard of Chris Jericho, the wrestler? Yeah. Would you lend him your shirt for a film? I suppose.
Well, can I swap with him at least?
Well, to be fair, there's probably not many people his size.
No, that's true. The budget was $2.4 million. I said that in the wrong order.
Well, that's quite a lot.
2.4. I suppose relative. Everything's relative. I mean, 2.4 million for a special effects film that's insane. Only a psycho would attempt such a thing. Like that's probably the catering budget on a Star Wars film.
It's mostly CGI, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mental that they even attempt these things.
And they had to buy a gold chainsaw.
Well, I watch these things on TV, and the disaster ones are like people running around a very barren like place. It's obviously like there's some quarry outside LA. Most of the film is just them being tired and doing really shit, slow dialogue. And then there'll be 3 or 4 shots of awful CGI earthquakes. And the movie will be called Mega Quake Disaster. So shit, but I just sit there like a fucking dribbling fucking zombie. It's like, I wish this was my job. I wish I was involved in this somehow. Sometimes I like to fantasize how I'd make them better. Like I watched Shark Side of the Moon. It was shit. That had a budget of 10 grand. So much promise. So much promise. These Russians create genetically engineered shark men, but they turn out to like attack the Russians, so they send them to fucking space to crash them on the moon, and then some Americans crash on the moon, and then the sharks. Fucking so bad. So much potential. Wasted that title. That could have been the next Sharknado franchise if they'd have, just put another 10 grand in. Use some of your fucking Sharknado money.
I just know I'd never go back to the moon again.
It even said on the poster from the makers of Sharknado, I was fucking stoked. I'd been looking genuinely all day at work thinking I can't wait to get home. Honestly, I am going to skin her. I'm going to get a fucking fattest joint and I'm going to fucking enjoy the shark side of the moon, man. I'm going to enjoy the shit out of it. And the first 5 minutes were alright, but then fuck.
Oh.
But I sat through it. It's probably the worst film I've ever watched. That is saying something.
With you, yeah.
Yeah, really bad. But yeah, so what's happened here? Where are we?
So, the Sci-Fi Channel had a faithful niche audience of campy Saturday night movie enthusiasts, but none of the sci-fi productions had punctured the pop culture bubble. And when Sharknado touched down, it quickly entered the cultural zeitgeist as a full-blown phenomena.
Yeah.
Archie Comics had a special Sharknado issue. There are real-world books. How Stuff Works wrote about the physics, which we've got that episode, that info later on. It's mentioned in Deadpool 2 and a Final Fantasy game, and there was a Funko Pop and several Halloween costumes, and there's even a Magic the Gathering card.
Oh, I want that.
Obviously, it says Shark Typhoon rather than Sharknado to avoid copyright laws. But
I like that line there. I cannot stress enough that this just does not happen for most movies in this genre because they're so shit. No one will watch.
Well, one of the reasons it became a phenomenon was social media, where the premiere earned more than twice as many Twitter mentions as the infamous Red Wedding episode of Game of Thrones. Now that
is impressive.
Is very impressive because that episode blew the fucking internet.
Yeah. Jesus. People went Sharknado mad. I was one of them. I can't believe you two didn't get...
No, I was watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you watch good stuff. But I can't be arsed with all that fantasy. Give me something realistic.
Never mind, give me something with some juicy medieval politics, scandal and war. Nah, give me a tornado full of shit. You're an uncomplicated man, you are.
I know, when it comes to entertainment I am. I was genuinely quite disappointed that you weren't both as smitten with it as I was. I thought it was going to become a thing and we'd binge all 6, but I think you've had enough with the 2 that you saw.
You asked me how I felt after this movie. I remember replying, dumber.
Dumber.
It's mind rot.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy the action scenes for what they were. You know.
It's quite funny in places, and the ending I like.
David
like the ending.
fucking Hasselhoff.
Just shows how much he's fallen, doesn't it? I found it quite tragic in one respect.
Everyone's got bills to pay, Ben.
I know they have, but he should have saved his money.
It's actually brilliant casting. You know, he looks a bit like he could be Finn's dad, doesn't he?
No.
And what's amazing is he's a cut above the rest of the cast.
His
It's
acting
noticeable.
is clearly significantly
We're on about David Hasselhoff.
He's got better acting chops than the rest of them put together.
Noticeably by a mile, mate.
Well, he went to drama school. He's had jobs.
He's been in Baywatch.
Yeah, he's Knight Rider. You know, he was a professional actor. I mean, he's acted against Tara Reid for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, he looked positively Shakespearean next to her.
You know what?
I mean, put him next to Patrick Stewart and we might feel differently, but next to Tara Reid, fuck me, he was acting circles round her. Masterclass. Don't hassle the half. Oh dear.
So the premise of Sharknado was
Premise?
The premise of Sharknado was so silly that lead actor Ian Ziering
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Ziering famously didn't even tell his family he was going to be in it and that they should watch. No one expected anything like this. When I was writing this movie, I was having fun and I thought I'd be lucky if 10 other people shared my sense of humour. Thunder Levin.
What a name.
Thunder Levin.
Who, by the way, started as a lowly writer. He wrote all 6, but he ended up becoming the producer, director. You know, he's the George Lucas of the Sharknado world.
Wow.
Put some respect on his thunderous name.
To carry on, he said that I expected it might become a little cult film with a deeply disturbed but devoted fan base.
Hello.
But we never expected how it took off and blew up and kept going. And our reception at Comic-Con had a line out of the door for a poster signing. We were blown away and acted like giddy school kids.
Well, good for you, Thunder.
I
obviously.
suppose this is the first instance of where a film has jumped the shark at concept.
Hey.
Oh, who's got the
Thought.
punk crone? I think it might be you,
Oh,
Gaz.
pretty good, isn't it?
Why? What did I say?
I can't. It was a while back now.
Oh, you mean overall? Oh, fuck me, no good asking me.
I
Mike's
think-
always got it, hasn't he?
So the first movie was so popular that an ever-growing list of celebrities, from Neil deGrasse Tyson to George R.R. Martin, who should have been writing The Winds of Winter but thought he'd appear in Sharknado. Only waiting 12 years for that. No, Joe. I think 12 years might be actually no. I think it's like 20 fucking years.
He was binging Sharknado.
Well, clearly he needs to fucking crack on. Penn and Teller, Frankie. How do I say Frankie Muniz wanted to cameo. And the impact went beyond Hollywood and Twitter into the halls of power. Today, a Republican senator used a still from Sharknado to explain why he opposes climate change action. Yes, this actually happened. Dumb as a Sharknado.
God, I love Republicans.
In fact, shortly after a heated casting dispute in which he was told that Mark Cuban would be the president in Sharknado 3, oh hell no, but the role of vice president was still available, Donald J. Trump announced that he was running for president in real life.
So if they'd have cast him as the president, he might never have bothered running in real life.
Maybe.
Fucking hell, Sharknado.
Oh.
What have you done?
I
You've destroyed the world.
We should thank them.
So, who came up with the idea? A meme from 2015 stated, "Next time you're afraid to share your ideas, remember that someone once said in a meeting, let's make a film with a tornado full of sharks."
Genius, it worked.
Obviously, an original sci-fi movie, part of the booming B-movie factory that Bloomberg... Wow, that's fucking great alliteration. Booming B-movie factory that Bloomberg called cheap, stupid, and enormously successful.
Hey, those are my favourite films.
In the before times, before streaming, cable channels had to solicit the creation of films because otherwise there just wasn't enough content. But they didn't have the budgets to make original films that were, for lack of a better word, good.
Hey, Ape versus Mecha Ape was... That is fucking awful, but there was a massive robot monkey in it. Really shit CGI, if that's your thing.
Which clearly it is for you.
Oh yeah, right in the sweet spot.
So the ridiculous origin story idea for Sharknado specifically came from a throwaway line in another sci-fi channel original, Leprechaun's Revenge.
I haven't seen that one.
Which some purists prefer to call Red Clover.
Purists.
That's got to be part of the Leprechaun franchise then, hasn't it?
I'm not sure. I suppose the word leprechaun's not copyrighted, is it? You could just...
There are Leprechaun movies. Have you ever seen them?
Oh yeah, I'm aware of them, and no, I've never actually watched them. Hornswoggle's in a modern remake of one of them.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
It's
he's
probably
the
the most
Leprechaun.
famous, well, one of the most famous little people who do B movies on the planet, to be fair. So Thunder Levin,
What a name.
Said, I did not actually come up with the word Sharknado, that was just actually mentioned in Red Clover, which is a throwaway line of dialogue. There's this town in the movie that I guess being besieged by leprechauns, I haven't actually watched the whole thing, and someone says, gosh, I hope we don't go the way of that other town, they never recovered after the Sharknado hit. One of the execs at Sci-Fi, well, that stuck with them, and they thought, hey, we should make a movie called Sharknado. I had just written a film called Mutant Vampire Zombies from the Hood, and I guess they just thought I could handle the lighter tone.
Hang on, let me just put that on my list.
Mutant Vampire Zombies from the Hood.
Oh yeah. Might watch that tonight.
Yeah, Mutant Vampire Zombies from the Hood.
Yeah, sounds excellent.
So why were these films different?
They're excellent.
Well, in my opinion, the name is cool, Sharknado.
Yeah.
Right, that's a cool name.
It's a fun concept.
It's a fun the
second you read the word, you know what that is. Even though it's a ridiculous, something you've never thought of before in your life. You read that and you're like, what?
Yeah.
A tornado of sharks? Madness.
We can go back to the 1950s with Roddy McDowall in the film Killer Shark, which would have been your first bad shark
Because
film.
for some reason, I will tell you, when you look at all these shit films that they make, sharks, zombies, dinosaurs, they're the three. But sharks seem to be fucking so many shit shark films. Literally hundreds. I don't know
Jaws
why.
is really like a fucking just a high budget one of this, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if they make them because they're the easiest to make or if there's an actual demand. For some reason, the people that like these shit films like sharks.
Yeah,
Shark
I mean,
films.
just to give you some examples of shark films,
Mm.
Shark Exorcist I'd quite like to see.
Sounds good. The tagline, Satan has jaws.
Phew, I'm in.
Sold. Yeah, put that on the list.
Snow Sharks with the tagline, Snow is just frozen water. There's Sharktopus, which eventually fights a half pterodactyl, half barracuda. Five-headed shark attack. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Well, I've got a Blu-ray DVD at home that you should thank God that I've never forced you both to watch, called Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. The Mecha Shark is piloted by some terrible actresses with fantastic cleavages. And the inside is obviously they're just in a room on some chairs with like... But
It's being a giant shark.
It's supposed to be inside the Mecha Shark piloting it. It's like, it's just a room.
Hotel room? Is there a cook chair in the corner?
Just got like 3 office chairs. These shit little controls. But their cleavages are great.
Oh,
Blu-ray!
wow. Saw you coming, didn't they?
It wasn't expensive, Ben. I think it was £3.
Oh, wow, I didn't realise Blu-rays had gone down to that.
You know it's going to be good when it's £3.
Sky Sharks, in which Nazi zombies using flying zombie sharks to try and take over the world.
Wow.
There's the higher budget but still bad tier, like The Meg, 47 metres down, and Deep Blue Sea. But none of them have had anywhere near the impact of the Sharknado franchise, despite having, let's face it, bigger budgets and bigger stars. What is different about Sharknado?
Well, before we read what they say it is, I posit is that everybody is winking. Well, no. The actors are acting seriously, even though the lines are ridiculous. At least the lead guy is. He's like stoic and he's trying to act as if he's in a real action film, isn't he?
Didn't you describe him as wooden, Mike?
That's
last
an
week?
insult to wood.
Yeah.
But I think it's because the rest of the script, the whole way it's shot, everything, it's all one big wink, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're like, look, it's called Sharknado, let's have a laugh. We know this is a bit...
You know what? If Leslie Nielsen was alive, he'd have been in Sharknado.
Yeah.
He'd have put it, if they made it when he was young, he would have been the lead character.
Yes, acted all serious. I can't remember.
I would actually like to see a Sharknado Naked Gun crossover. I'd like to see Frank Drebin appear in a Sharknado film
Well-
in character. So I guess that's Liam Neeson now.
AI can make that happen. What was that guy's name? Ian Ziering. I want to know. I think he might have been somebody in the 90s.
I've seen him in other low budget action films in the 90s. I'm sure I have. That's not the first thing I've seen him in. But he's always been like, supporting. He's not,
He was on Beverly Hills 90210 back in the 90s. Then pretty much nothing.
Well, okay.
So along came Sharknado.
I'm thinking
and
of somebody
saved his-
else.
Saved his mortgage, probably.
I don't know. They must have made a fair bit at a 90210. That was
Yeah,
fairly popular, wasn't it?
But if you did nothing in the
Oh yeah.
intervening
30
years,
years.
yeah.
You just got this decaying LA mansion that's slowly falling apart, like Troy McClure's house on the cliff. It's like,
Yeah, well, he didn't even want to tell his family he was in it, did he?
no.
I don't know why everyone's mad for sharks.
Thunder Levin says the big thing that sets us apart is that we're able to walk a very fine line between outright satire and straight disaster film. It's that balance and sense of fun that Sharknado exuded. It's what made it catch on. And another of those things that makes Sharknado take off when other films in a similar genre didn't. It's just the title. It's brilliant. It clearly states what it is and sounds so ridiculous. There's a certain curiosity about it.
Yeah, because I mean, Attack of the Five-Headed Mega Shark. That doesn't.
You're trying too hard.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But Sharknado is just like, okay, I would like to see a tornado of sharks at least for a minute.
That's the problem, you see. There's not enough Sharknado.
Well, that's because that would cost more money.
I know.
So you've got to pad it out with celebrities and shit little weird flat dialogue and scenes that drag.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
But let's not have these shit celebrities, if they're being paid,
Yeah.
and have a bit more Sharknado.
Well, you see, I think you should watch part 6, Ben.
Has it got a bigger budget?
I think it has the biggest budget of the lot. Yeah. In fact.
Check it and I'll...
Based on the budget, this could sell you for... And there's time travel.
Wow.
They go to the Civil War.
Okay.
Yeah. And cowboy times.
Wow.
Where are they going to go with 7?
No, parody number 6, it's literally called The Last One. And the tagline is, it's about time.
It's clever.
That's good writing.
No, that's good writing.
It had a significantly higher budget, Ben, of 3 million.
All right.
That's still 500 grand's worth more of special effects.
One thing that gets me
Mm-hmm.
about these films, right, is that so 1 and 2 they're attacking like Los Angeles and New York, yeah?
Yeah.
And then number 3 is like a mega storm, isn't it? It's like along the entire coastline.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, right. Where's all the sharks coming from?
The sea.
Are sharks reproducing at an alarming rate in this scenario then? Because if you're scooping up all the sharks, there's not going to be any sharks. They need to replenish their numbers because once they land on the land,
Yeah.
they're not getting back in the water, are they? They're just going to die. You could outlast a Sharknado hiding in that cupboard.
I don't know how many sharks there are, do you?
Well, I mean, I'm going to guess there's not the millions that are being represented on screen.
If that's your biggest problem with the film, I mean,
It's not my biggest problem, but it's the one thing I had trouble understanding. Like, why are they getting all the sharks?
I think there's only about 3,000 great whites.
wow.
A lot of them sharks were great
They're
whites.
spread about in the. You just see that they're going round fast, so it looks like you're seeing them.
There's only 2 or
It's
3
the
of
same
them.
one. You're seeing. Don't question the science.
That's my biggest thing. One of my biggest things.
Not the chainsaw hand.
No, I can understand that. I think it's a life choice at that point.
Where did it go when the blade went?
I refuse to question anything because once you start, you can't stop with this, can you? Because it's all bollocks.
Like, how did they breathe?
Yeah.
Yeah, how did the sharks breathe in the? But then I'm assuming there's not a water in that tornado, in the.
Yeah, but a lot of the
Small
killing that they do
water-nado.
is just like some bloke lying on the concrete and the shark lands on top of him.
Yeah.
And he wiggles about underneath it.
If I lost my hand, I would push very hard for some kind of chainsaw attachment.
Yeah.
Especially in a world with Sharknadoes.
I think she upgrades it. Didn't she get a lightsaber one in?
Oh, I think she...
Part
Didn't
4.
she have a lightsaber chainsaw in part 4?
Yeah, she did, yeah. That's the one where... Is she a robot? Yeah,
She's a robot in that
part
one, yeah.
4,
So... It's silly fun without being slapstick, and they don't take themselves too seriously. They never try and explain the reasons for the Sharknado beyond climate change. It's not a slapstick comedy, but it's not high art, but it's watchable. Apparently, it's even rewatchable. I mean, for you it is, Gaz.
I've
For
seen
me, it's
them.
not something I'd certainly watch sober again. I mean, I haven't watched either of them sober, but. It's not one I would watch. I'd go, Sunday afternoon, I think I'll put Sharknado 4 on.
Well, that's exactly what I would put it on.
Thunder Levin has proceeded to tell the writer this about a pitch he's trying to find a home for called Deadbeard, which is a zombie pirate musical. I'd watch Deadbeard. I'd give that a shot.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. One thing that people like to even know is that the realism is obviously not the goal of these films, but the team had a commitment to sneaking in real science as a wink to their surprisingly large fan base in the scientific community. I guess if you're like a science nerd, you would look this because you're like, oh man, a Sharknado. I wonder if that as a thought
It's an
exercise, you'd love
intellectual
it.
exercise. Yeah, that's what it is for me, Ben. That's why I sort of enjoy these films. It's because it's such a challenging intellectual quandary.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you picked out every one of the 50 different species of sharks as well, featured across the whole franchise?
I definitely saw a hammerhead in there somewhere, and I may have seen a basking shark
I
and a
probably
great
saw
white.
probably about 3 different ones. I'm not a shark expert, Mike. They're all, I know if it's not a great white, I don't know what the fuck it is. Not hammerhead. Yeah, 50 species. That's a lot.
Where are we at with it?
Well, I think it's obvious where I'm at with them. I love these films for what they are, which is absolute trash, but it's entertaining trash. It's made with love.
I won't deny that it's certainly made with love.
There's sort of everyone's having a good time. I feel, I think everyone on set's probably having a great time. Probably
Eating bad food,
I was
though,
going to
no
say
doubt.
probably no food at all to eat, is there? They probably had to bring their own. Bring a packed lunch.
There's probably literally, guys, there's a tub of butter, a loaf of bread, and some deli meat. Or some packets of ham left out in the open.
Sweaty ham. Oh, they could have been creative with it and had a lot of seafood.
Costs money, that does.
Yeah, that's true. Unless they bought it just as it was going off.
Yeah, maybe like it's 3-day-old shrimp.
Yeah. So, how did you guys feel about the 2 movies that you enjoyed?
Now, bear in mind my state of inebriation and my recollection of these films not being too fantastic. There's no plot to these films that we watched, apart from the fact there's a Sharknado and some dude's going to get a chainsaw to him at some point.
It's just a series of events just stitched together.
Yeah, there's no continuality through the movies. It's just there is no plot. It's just a series of events stitched together.
A bit more of a story in part 3. Part 4, there's just like lots of random scenes seemingly stitched together.
Yeah, 1 minute I'm here, the next minute I'm here. The president's not coming back.
Yeah. You were really upset about that president.
I thought it was how many presidents do you know that stand there and fire a fucking fully automatic rifle into a Sharknado? Yeah, come on.
Excellent opening scene. Yeah. Well, the Offspring even wrote a song for, I can't remember which part it is, but one of the films, the Offspring is playing a song called Sharknado. They wouldn't do that for any old film, would they?
No, I mean, and the name is fun, isn't it?
It is fun.
Sharknado. That's piqued my curiosity.
Well, no, it didn't pique mine.
Look, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but a big but.
What would you rate it out of 10?
Give it a 4.
That's fair.
So I like the ending.
Yeah.
I did like the ending when she gives birth in the shark, and the baby breaks its way out of the shark. I thought that was amazing. Hasselhoff's always good.
Yeah. The fact that he just lives on the moon now. Did they explain in part 4? I can't even remember how he gets back, because he's back in part 4, isn't he?
He just floated back,
he
mate.
was just waving on the moon, wasn't he?
Kit went and got him there. He was stuck. He was just on the moon with no food.
He took it all. He bent his knees right down. He squatted right down, and just launched himself forwards. That's what he did. And he was because he's the Hoff.
Because the thing is, I don't want to be gross. If you're stuck on the moon in a spacesuit and you haven't got a space toilet, that suit's going to fill up pretty soon, isn't it? I mean, eventually you're literally going to have shit forcing its way up into your helmet, and you're going to drown in your own feet. You're either going to drown in your own leavings or take your helmet off and have your head explode.
I think
What are you going to choose?
I'm taking my helmet off.
The Earth, the beautiful view of the Earth starts to disappear behind a fucking wave of shit.
To be fair, guys, I think I'm going to get pretty fucking tired of it by the time it's up to my ankles. The
No,
stench.
yeah.
Look, I'd give it to my knees waiting to be rescued. No, maybe my shoulders. You got nothing else to do, but I don't know why I'm shitting so much because I can't eat anything. You'll starve before you drown in shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, forget about that. You haven't got to worry about it.
Yeah, you know,
Oh dear, poor old Huff. Well, it was nice to see him, wasn't it? Looking good and healthy and off
Oh
the
yeah.
booze.
Yeah, trying to get back into acting.
Ah, he was great.
He's practically fucking Shakespeare in this film.
He was great.
So, how stuff works. He's going to tell us how a
Mm.
Sharknado would work.
Proper website.
In Marksville, Louisiana in 1947, fish are reported falling from the sky. In Odzashi in Serbia in 2005, thousands of frogs rain upon the city. Lajamanu in Australia, 2010, hundreds of spangled perch drop from the sky onto the small town. And Los Angeles 2013, great white sharks pelt the metropolis from the sky, massacring everyone in sight.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Sharknado would have you believe would happen. In the movie and the sequels, obviously 2 and 3, which must have been out when this was written, a freak cyclone hits the ocean front and sharks are sucked into the whirling winds. As the storm moves over the city, Los Angeles in the first, New York in the second, Washington DC in the third, and presumably New York again because, well, it was New York again, was because the entire fucking East Coast.
Right?
The sharks drop out the sky and attempt to rip apart anything in their path. And if that wasn't enough, sharks enter the streets, as well as with massive flooding from the storm attacking the city dwellers on land, air and sea, and there's no escape. Could this be real? Could some elements be real? Let's find out. So, thankfully for creating a Sharknado, if you really wanted to, great white sharks tend to spend most of their lives relatively close to the source. Apparently, it's only 2,400 adult great whites.
That's about what I said, wasn't it?
Yeah. Ideally, if we wanted to find a way to remove most of their food options for a bit to increase their appetite and then plop into the water a big bloody mess of food to get them to congregate, and sharks can detect pressure changes associated with oncoming storms and take evasive action. So we're going to have to dump a load of food really close to the shore. Let's have a look at the weather. In theory, a Sharknado should work like a regular tornado, just with that extra little bit of spice. Technically speaking, since the Sharknado is going to suck up sharks from the ocean, we'd be talking about a funnel cloud that forms over the water, which is a waterspout. Generally weaker than tornadoes, they can form from fairly innocuous clouds. We need a tornadic waterspout, and those are whirling columns of air that develop from thunderstorms. You get the condensation, which releases heat, and heat becomes the energy that drives huge upward drafts of air. And this movement of air eventually turns into a vortex. We all know what one of them does.
Does it take you to another dimension?
You'd be like, how far? And I'm the science officer, I don't have a clue.
Well, warm air moves on the insides, moves upwards, and the cool, dry air sinks, and you get this difference in temperature between the inside and the outside of the vortex that builds a level of instability that helps the waterspout or tornado thrive. Then once it gets ashore, it's a tornado. If it gets sharks, you've got a Sharknado.
That's the key defining factor.
Is it powerful enough to pick up great whites?
Great white sharks can weigh up to 5,000 pounds, which is 2,268 kilograms, sometimes even more, which is more than a dairy cow.
So that's 2 ton. 1,000 kilograms is a ton, isn't it?
Yeah.
2.2 ton. Yeah, that's quite heavy.
Well, there's a computation you could do to figure out the wind speed. I'm not going to go through it because I'm not talking about fucking maths on a Saturday.
Yeah, equations and shit.
I'm not doing equations. You need to get 89.7 meters per second for terminal velocity of a shark. So you need to get about 200 miles per hour wind speed.
That's a hurricane, isn't it?
Well, waterspouts generally have speeds of less than 100 miles per hour. So it would have to be at least a 3 or 4 on the tornado damage scale, where trains can be overturned and cars thrown and houses levelled.
Well, that's what they were in Sharknado, weren't they? Big, powerful ones knocking buildings down.
So in theory...
That was weird as well, how the sharks demolished buildings.
Well, they're going 87 metres a second.
Yeah, and they weigh 2
tons.
Yeah. Ah, fair play.
I wouldn't fancy one of them coming through my living room window, let's put it that way.
No, terrible mess. Well, the dogs would be alright for food for a while, though, wouldn't they?
For a bit, I mean, it would start to rot at some point, wouldn't it? You know, I don't know how many days you got.
Well, if you were Scandinavian, you'd be like, oh, hallelujah.
Oh, fuck yeah, you'd just be gnawing
Just
that
sit
shit
here,
raw, wouldn't
we'll
you?
wait 3 years and then we'll start eating the shit out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want mouldy food.
No, fermented. Idiots. The only fermentation I want is beer.
Damn right.
So in theory, it could happen.
If you got a strong enough tornado over water that turns into a water spout and goes over 200 miles per hour, and you've lured in a load of sharks into its path.
But there's one problem.
So,
Well, they can't breathe in air, can they? They need water.
so they might not bite you to death, but if they landed on you or hit you in the head.
Remember, it's sucking water up. They're
It
all
is.
spinning round in
But
water.
is there enough?
Well, if you've got at least two, let's say you've managed to assemble the entirety of the great white population.
Well, they're saying here.
Great white shark, there's no racial motive there.
I didn't think there was.
Well, he's saying he couldn't possibly draw up enough water to keep the sharks alive.
Okay.
Oh, well.
But there are real life examples of smaller versions of this.
Ah, but look at that's horrible. It says, a word on the fishing boats and docks is that sharks can still bite after they've stopped breathing. Involuntarily shutting their jaws on someone's hand is very different than a bloodthirsty attack.
True, but I'd imagine you're still losing your hand, aren't you?
Yeah, because how are you going to get it to open its mouth? It's dead.
Well, they'd have to get a fucking crowbar in there, wouldn't they?
God. What a way to go.
If you haven't lost your hand, your fucking bones are broken, aren't they?
Ugh.
I wonder what the bite... I mean, I don't even know why I'm trying to wonder. The bite pressure must be fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, a Rottweiler can break your arm. Fucking the shark must be just taking your fucking hand off.
That serves some dickhead right if they're taking a selfie though with their head in it.
Oh yeah.
And then it just snaps shut. What a way to go. That's Darwin Awards, isn't it?
That really is Darwin Awards, yeah, totally. So there's never been, let's just calm the listener down. There's never been a Sharknado.
But there has been a Gatornado.
A Gatornado.
Okay.
Sounds even better than Sharknado, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does actually.
I wonder if we'd get sued for making Gatornado.
I think we should do
We
it.
should register it. Cut this out.
So obviously, one of your most likely animals gets sucked up into water, a small fish. In the Philippines, in the Agon del Sur region, were left dumbfounded after dozens of 3-inch mudfish began raining from the sky. I bet they'd fucking come sharp though if it hit you in the face, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't want anything from the sea raining down on me. It's just weird.
And we all know 3 inches is massive.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's fucking huge. Huge. A couple of years earlier, a similar event occurred in Lajamanu in Australia when perch began falling from the clouds by the hundreds, many of them still alive and flopping after they landed. Fishnados usually involve smaller species or younger fish because larger specimens are just too heavy to get into the spout. Rains of frogs are another documented form of animal tornado.
I hate frogs.
It goes back to ancient Greece. In Paconia and Dardania, it has, they say before now, rained frogs. To quote Greek author Athenaeus.
Frognado.
In 2005, in the Serbian town of Odzaci. Jellyfish, wouldn't fancy
bad.
jellyfish. That happened in 1894 in Bath, England. But only jellyfish roughly the size of a shilling.
Babies.
Rained by the thousands.
Ugh.
That'd be slimy, wouldn't it?
Horrible.
Worms.
A wormnado.
Wormnado. It rained worms in Jennings, Los Angeles in July 2007 after a water spout was reported 5 miles from town. The worms reportedly came down in slithering, tangled clumps. Oh, I wouldn't fancy taking one of them in the face, would you?
God.
Oh, it went in my mouth.
Shut up. Oof.
And alligators. Although this is a report from 1887 in the New York Times, Dr. J.L. Smith of Silverton Township, while opening up a new turpentine farm, noticed something fall to the ground and commenced to crawl towards the tent where he was sitting. On examining the object, he found it to be an alligator. Smith went on to find himself surrounded by 8 alligators in total, which had apparently been dropped from the sky by a distant waterspout. If his account is to be believed, then this was history's first and only documented case of a genuine, no-joke gatornado.
Gatornado.
Can't believe that hasn't already been made.
Yeah.
We need to do it as if we're right. The main character, Dr. J.L. Smith of Silverton Township, he's going to have like a couple of old-timey shotguns,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
a couple of flintlock pistols, he's got a magnificent beard.
I think it should be set in Australia.
What about if
Set
we
it in
got...
cowboy times?
A gatornado.
What about if that's the origin story of Crocodile Dundee?
Hang on, how about this? Because Paul Hogan's still alive. He's
Yes.
incredibly old. Crocodile Dundee 4, Gatornado.
I think he'd jump at the chance.
Well, fuck it, we've got AI. That's not a Gatornado. This is a Gatornado.
Oh God! You got the tiny one over there, and then there's a massive one just approaching.
This
This is a Gatornado.
He just starts taking him on with his massive knife.
Yeah, he's can jump,
Yeah.
stabbing him up.
Yeah.
Eventually, his knife becomes his hand.
Is he going to be a robot at some
Of
point?
course, he is.
He gets killed in like the first third, and then he comes back as Robo Dundee.
What if they have? We'll just set ourselves up forever. What if they have a bank of clones of Mick Dundee?
Fantastic.
They clone because he's the world's most dangerous man.
Yeah, and
They just clone him in event of a
the
case.
Australian Prime Minister has been building a clone army of
Mick
Mick
Dundees.
Dundees
Yeah.
in case
Just in case the world needed it.
to fight off,
Any
crazy American,
Any-
dictators, for example.
any threats to world or national security,
Yeah.
we can sleep safe knowing there's an army of cloned Mick Dundees.
Send in the Dundees. You sure, sir? Yeah. It's a Gatornado.
Cracks a can open.
There you go. Writes itself.
We get Gatorade to sponsor it. It's all coming together. This time next year we'll be B-movie millionaires.
I don't think anyone has ever been... I don't think Thunder Levin's even a millionaire, and he made 6 of the most successful ones.
Well, it doesn't matter. We'll have a film on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Right.
Copyright us.
Yeah, we're just going to speak to Paul Hogan.
Yeah. He's still alive, isn't
He's about 93.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be up for it.
As I say, AI.
Probably the best
Right.
way forward.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm giving this a 4 out of 10 as well.
Well, you're wrong. Absolutely. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. I'm going to go a good solid 7.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Bit slow in the middle, I would admit. Very slow in the middle. But then David Hasselhoff just takes his son to work. His son, who's just a shark man. And they're like, "Can we borrow the space shuttle?"
Yeah. David Hasselhoff just has a space shuttle lying around.
Do you need a crew? No, with my son and his...
Why did they need to go to space again?
I can't remember.
Was
About
it
a
like
laser
to
or
Oh, the
something?
laser. They're
Yeah.
going to fire a laser.
dissipate
into
the storm?
Yeah, that's it.
And then he ended up on the moon.
Yeah. Fantastic.
It was just a series of unfortunate events, this film, really.
But, they got there. Finn went to... It was weird. He went to get his medal at the start, didn't he? And he says, "I can smell these things coming now."
Yeah.
But then he proceeded to not see a single... He, drove into, 2 different Sharknados.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere.
He didn't sniff them out at
No.
all. No.
Well,
Amazing.
I can't recommend all 6 of them enough. I'd space it out if I were you, listener. Don't watch more than one in a row. You'll start to feel funny.
Yeah. So on that note, yeah, I've been Ben. Don't do the flow braid. Don't join a cult.
I've been Mike. Thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you.
I've been Gaz. Free Biff Tannen. Bye.